Now we're going to spend a little bit of time cleaning up the transitions in between the dialogue, because right now you can see that all we have on our dialogue track are hard edits. And that presents a little bit of a problem because whenever the audio from one clip goes into the next clip, it's a hard edit and you'll be able to hear the difference between the different single camera takes. Let's take a listen to the audio right now.
The old mine, she's about 3 or 4 hours hike. If we huff and we puff it, should be able to get there ahead of dusk.
Sounds good. Lead the way.
See how that just kind of sounds clumsy because we've got a little bit of road and wind noise in this wide angle, and then there's a qualitative difference to the background audio in between these two takes. So what we'll want to do is smooth them out by adding some audio transitions. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do that. And all of those methods are very similar to adding video transitions in between video clips. So one way to do it is to come to the Effects window and then choosing one of the crossfade audio transitions. And in this case, we have the constant power transition selected, and it is the default effect. So you could just click and drag that transition over the audio tracks and then lift off. And now you have a constant power crossfade in between each of those clips. But let me show you a couple of other really fast ways to do it. I'm going to hit Controller-Command-Z to undo. And then, just like adding a video transition, I like to use this method. You could hold down the Shift key and then double-click on the timeline right up here. That will move the playback head right at the border of each of those clips. And then by using the audio transition keyboard shortcut, which is the Controller-Command key, along with Shift and typing D for dog, that will add the default audio transition at that particular point in time and between those two clips. And another way to do it is to make a selection of the clips to which you want to apply the transition. So I'm going to undo that addition, so Controller-Command-Z to undo. And then I'm going to quickly draw a box around all 4 of those clips. And now that I've made that selection, if I were to type the Add Default Audio Transition shortcut again by typing Controller-Command along with Shift and then the D key again, watch what happens. Now we have transitions in between all of those clips. Let's listen to the result now, and you'll notice that those transitions are much smoother.
I guess. The old mine, she's about 3 or 4 hours hike. If we huff and we puff it, should be able to get there ahead of dusk.
Sounds good. Lead the way.
So for the most part, things are good, except that I noticed that in between these two audio clips, there's a little bit of a collision of dialogue, because we hear one actor's lines in both of these takes. So what we'll want to do is shorten that transition, but let's listen to it again so that you can hear what I'm talking about.
Able to get there ahead of dusk.
Sounds good.
You can actually hear 2 sounds. When the actor says sounds, you kind of hear sounds good.
Able to get there ahead of dusk.
Sounds good.
So what you'll do is bring your mouse over to the handle of that transition and click and drag, and that will contract the duration of that transition. Let's take a listen to the result.
There ahead of dusk.
Sounds good.
Close. Let's make it even a little bit shorter.
Ahead of dusk.
Sounds good. Lead the way.
There we go. And next, let's apply some clip-based audio effects.